Today on MuscleCar, Red Sled gets a fine 409, how to make inner fenders on the cheap, and a trip to the year one experience.
Yeah, there's a lot of famous muscle cars out there, like the Bullitt Mustang or the Challenger from Vanishing Point. And while Detroit was building them, California was making them famous in movies and music. But one of the most recognizable songs out there isn't even about the car. It's about the engine. Chevrolet's infamous 409. Hey Brent, check out what I found out in front of horsepower.
Oh, cool, engine for Red Sled.
Yeah, it doesn't get any cooler than a 409 and an Impala.
I heard that. Well, hey, what do you say we put it in, man? I'd like to make some inner fenders right here. Maybe bolt up the headers and steering, see what kind of room we got in there.
Cool, works for me, man. Put it together.
Let's do it.
In order to make this old hunk of steel worthy of its new heart, we braced up the old X-frame, put in air ride suspension, widened the tubs, patched up the old sheet metal, got started on the bodywork, and smoothed out the bumpers. Our heads were pretty full, so the guys down at Horsepower stepped up to build the engine. Joe headed down to Georgia for help from 409 expert Lamar Walden, who set us up with a vintage 409 block. Bored and stroked it to 476, then decked and honed it to perfection. Then they custom made some high compression aluminum pistons and balanced our Eagle crank. Back at the shop, Buddy, Mike, and Joe brought it all together with Edelbrock's W-Series Performer RPM heads and intake, topped off with Edelbrock's classic 409 valve covers and a pair of their 600 CFM Performer carbs. It was ready for the dyno. With Hooker's competition headers bolted on, it pulled 497 horsepower and 525 foot-pounds of torque. Now that we've got our hands on it, we can bolt up the tranny and drop it into Red Sled. The bell housing we're using has a dust shield that needs to go on first, then the flywheel. Using an alignment tool, the clutch disc goes on next, then the Hayes pressure plate. Be sure to install the clutch fork first. Then, to lessen the odds of those clutch parts entering the passenger compartment, we're going to cover it up with a Lakewood scatter shield. In keeping with a nostalgia vibe, a Richmond Super T10 4-speed brings up the back. Prothane's urethane motor mounts will keep this 409 in place better than the stock ones, with less flex and less deterioration.
Time to kick the cool factor up on Project Red Sled another notch and stab this baby in. Now, GM used the same mounts from 283 all the way up to 454. So that means we can actually use the original 283 mounts on our frame.
Even with the core support out of the way, a little finesse is required to get the engine to meet up with the mounts. But it's nothing a jack and a little patience can't take care of.
Right there.
We're actually looking pretty good. Take the whole jack and shove it to the passenger side.
Since clearance is tight, we're using Doug's stock-style ceramic-coated headers. We'll lose a few horsepower from the free-flowing style, but these are designed to work in the tight quarters that we have to deal with. These Stage 8 locking fasteners will hold them in place, and they'll never have to be retightened. Since some Impalas came with 4 speeds, the stock crossmember still works. Time to drop the core support back in. Then we can set the hinges in place so we know how much clearance we'll have for wheel wells. We considered using original style wheel wells, but we didn't for 2 reasons. A, the old ones were rusted out junk, and B, we couldn't find any replacements. Our only option left, to build our own. I've started by measuring the overall dimensions and transferring them to cardboard. From there, let the trimming begin. I start out by making rough cuts to get the general shape, then trim a little at a time to get a more precise template.
Now, before we go any further, I'm going to set these pre-built fenders in place. That way I know all my measurements are correct. I picked up these trailer fenders from a farm supply store for under 50 bucks a pair. They come in a ton of different sizes and they'll save you a lot of time.
With the suspension fully compressed, I'm using a roll of 3/4 inch masking tape to set the clearance to the tire.
Hey Brent, wanna do some cutting?
Sure.
Sweet, I got the measurements right there on the top for you.
Cool.
Our tires are wider than the fenders, and there is no way we're putting skinnier tires on, so something's gotta give. And the first thing to go is the inner lip. Next, Brent's reshaping the radius to match the tires more closely. They would have worked fine as they were, but we like a tighter fit. Well, just because it looks better.
Cool, got it trimmed up?
Oh yeah, get it ready to go.
Looks good. I do see a problem though.
What's that?
This is hanging down here so far, I'll bet you can see it through the wheel well. Oh, yeah you can. Like quite a bit. We're gonna have to lose probably 4 or 5 inches off the tail end of that right there.
Hey, what do you say we take the other side, flip it around, and have it swoop back in?
Swap them side to side and kind of get a nest curve at. Ooh, that'd be
Yeah.
cool. And then just blend it into the firewall in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work.
Let's cut it up, dude.
Cool.
On the bright side, you don't have to worry about cutting these things up. They're cheap, and if you screw one up beyond repair, well, they made a lot more, and it won't eat up your whole paycheck to replace it.
Drop this in there, Richard.
Hey, that's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think it looks too bad. The whole idea we had about swapping these two cutoff pieces, though, isn't going to work.
Bummer.
But I think the piece we cut off of it, though, will, though.
No, that's cool. As long as we got it tied into the firewall somewhere so it's not slinging stuff up, that'll work. Yeah, that's fine.
Get these sides made up, man.
Yep, I'm on it. Well, hey, don't go anywhere, because coming up after the break, we're going to figure out how all this stuff is going to go together.
Up next, the Trans Am takes some big steps toward getting color.
Hey, welcome back. Our inner fenders are coming along nice, and once I get these side panels cut out, we can set them in place and trim them to fit those trailer fenders that Brent modified.
After making an initial cut with the shear and a pass of the plasma cutter, I'm trimming it up on the bandsaw. We've got to get the suspension up to get the rough cut piece in place. Then we'll drop it back down until it just kisses the top of the tire. The wheel well gets set in place so we can mark off the metal that's going to go in the scrapper. Once the side piece is free again, I'm trimming it on the bandsaw one more time.
Hey, Brent, got your present.
All right.
I hear you are the master bead roller.
You probably heard incorrect, but I'll give it a shot.
This part's not going to be under a lot of stress, but it will be under a lot of scrutiny. And the beads, well, they just look cool. Brent's marking out a rough idea of where they need to be, and the bead roller does the rest. With the bead rolling done, the whole thing can be stuck together with a TIG. Dressing it up with the grinder will get it ready for some plastic filler.
Brent finishes the install on those wheel wells, I can turn my attention back to the Trans Am. I got the bodywork done and she's ready for first prime. Man, I must have blown about 500 pounds of dust out of this thing. So now all I have to do is finish masking it up. The reason why you want to put the paper in between the plastic and the surface that you're painting is because if you run the plastic all the way down and attach it, As you're coming across with your coats, it's going to build up on that plastic. And the next time you come by with that coat, the plastic is going to be going like this, and all those little pieces of paint are going to break off of there and land back in the stuff that you're trying to shoot. The paper is there to absorb the overspray.
With the masking done, it's time to bust out the rusty fender primer. I'll be putting on 3 coats, plenty to block this thing out.
Well, it's all primed and guide coated. It's time to break out the longboards and make some more dust. Now, after we get all the blocking done, then we can go back and take care of some odds and ends like seam sealer and door jambs before the final prime.
120 grit on some Durablocks and lots of flexing of the old guns, and I mean lots, and the body will be one step closer to paint.
You know, with all the projects we have going, sometimes it feels like we live here in the shop. Now, this car is going to be representing year 1, so we'll take as much time as we need to make it just right. But you know what? We need a break. So we're going to head down to Atlanta, Georgia, see what's happened at the year 1 experience. And if you ask me nice, I'll even let you call a shotgun. Hey, Brent, you ready to get out of here? Go on a road trip?
Hell yeah.
Cool, we're gone.
After the break, MuscleCar hits the road to check out a car lover's paradise.
Brent and I need a break, so we're heading down to Braselton, Georgia for the year 1 experience at Road Atlanta.
Hey, we made it. The cars ran great, and I only got 1 ticket. We're here with the who's who and the what's what. We got muscle cars, street rods, we got trucks, we got everything. Let's go check it out. Year 1 is all about the cars, and this yearly event is no different. It's a chance to check out all kinds of rides, plus catch up on the latest in automotive products and technology. Dude, I'm on swag patrol over here.
Look at that. Reflexes like a cat.
Hey, who am I to turn down some free stuff?
Hey, this thing looks familiar, Rick.
Yeah, it kind of does, huh? It's one of those things that looks familiar but kind of not.
Yeah.
I don't know, what's different about it?
Tires are too small.
And of course, we have to find out what's new and cool. Let's just call it research.
What you do is equalize the pressure coming out of the motor. So we've developed this, it's called Deeport Scavenger Pipe.
But eventually, the cars were calling our names.
Look at that Impala right there. I like it. I like it too.
There's an incredible variety of cars and trucks here, from customs and hot rods to modern muscle and matching numbers classics, along with everything in between.
Now, personally, you would never ever want to give me a correct restored car like that because I'd ruin it.
This was kind of familiar too.
A little bit. It's familiar, but there's something different about it. And of course, where there's cool cars, there's also great people. I'd like you to meet the demented man who built this ride. How you doing? I'm Rick.
Rick, Mike Bone.
Mike Bone? Awesome car, man. I dig it.
Yeah!
Yeah, I saw that one. It's a beautiful piece.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
When you see the bed, they all go like this, and they
So
call their
what
body.
the heck is that? It's great to get a chance to hang out with some of our fans.
Hey, how you doing?
Even the four-legged kind. But we did have one serious mission. Year 1 asked us to join the panel of judges for the Year 1 Cup, and we're given an award of our own for Best Muscle Car. And I'll tell you, the competition is tough.
Not really a muscle car, but pretty cool.
I like the green, and I like the purple.
This is a nice car.
There's hundreds of cars out here, and I think we looked at pretty much all of them. No easy task. But hey, someone's got to do it. And don't go eastbound and down, because more muscle car from the Year 1 experience right after the break.
Coming up, Rick cuts a deal that has the Le Mans smoking.
I hear you want us to sign a couple tires, right?
That's right.
I'll make you a deal.
Okay.
We'll sign the tire, and you give us a couple tires for the Le Mans.
I think we can make that work.
We can make that work?
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
And a hot award goes to a cool Camaro.
Hey, welcome back. We're down here with BFG, and they were true to their word. They're hooking us up with some fresh skins. So you can't go to a burnout contest with rubber looking like that. If you were watching earlier this season, you know the Le Mans can create some serious tire smoke, but there's just nothing left of the old KDWs. Once these guys set us up, we'll be ready to roast them off again. So we're headed to the burnout exhibition to see what's smoking.
I've got MuscleCar television here today. How many people watch MuscleCar TV? All right, let's do it!
That was cool.
46 seconds and one more set of tires down the tubes, but it was worth it. Now to hold up our end of the bargain. BF Goodrich is carving logos and signatures from some automotive greats, including Brent and myself, into this tire. It's being presented as a thank you gift to Year 1 President Kevin King. It's not done yet, but when it is, it'll be a true work of art. Now for the highlight of our day, presenting the MuscleCar Best of Show Award. Metal fabricator Tom McKenzie is accepting the award for the 67 Camaro, which is owned by Bob Bertelson. Brent and I agreed this car is everything a resto mod should be, keeping the classic feel of a Camaro with lots of modern innovation. Then it was Horsepower's turn to present their Best Engine Award.
The winner goes to a 1968 Dodge RT convertible. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Last but not least, the coveted Year 1 Cup went to Richard Ryder's 55 Bel Air. Today's been a blast, and that's no surprise because this is an event for car lovers presented by car lovers.
The Year 1 experience is kind of the ultimate automotive deal for gearheads. It's just like one big family deal, and we welcome any type of car and everybody automotive that's into this hobby or just likes cars and wants to be outside and have some fun. To be able to take your car to a road course and an autocross and a wet autocross, just anything you might could imagine you'd want to do in a car on a track or driving, and here you have it. It's the Year 1 experience. And special thanks for the folks at MuscleCar for being here. Keep watching the show.
Today's been a heck of a day, man. We got to check out some cars, cruise around, give away an award, burn off another set of tires, and we still didn't get to do everything. But you know what? We're out of time. So for now, we're out of here.